say about that? With the Hellenistic systems, and I understand there's a silverish energy that is like flowing, and bluish or white energy that you can breathe in and goes into your body and it can fill you and fill up your chi and give you power and like strength and all that stuff to sustain you through sporting events, heart exams, and, stuff like that.
Good stuff.
Life.
Yeah.
Could you talk briefly on that?
Yes, actually I can. In my experience, Prana and Adamantine Particles are one and the same. And we're going to do a meditation very shortly in which we're going to work on actually seeing this.
So, Glenda, did Jesus tell you that it's evolution pushing us along as we go, or is our DNA being slowly changed by His presence, being more prevalent upon the planet, or how does that work? Or do you talk about it?
I'm still trying to answer Beverly's question. That's a big question. In the process of doing that, I think I'm going to answer your question too, and possibly some of your other questions. But I've got to lay a little groundwork here. I want to talk about this plasma field. Let's just imagine that from spirit, which is so utterly accepting, so utterly absent of resistance that we could call it the void even though it isn't really the void. Spirit is full of potential. It is full of, it contains all the potential that is, but it also contains no judgment. It contains no boundaries. It defines nothing and is not defined. You cannot define spirit. It's all that is, and yet it defines everything, yet you can't define it. Because there is no boundary within it. There is no pattern of resistance within it. But let's just say at some point, the spirit thickened up a little bit. If you can imagine, spirit became palpable. And actually, many people in the healing fields have seen this palpable. It's almost like a gel. They've seen this palpable. Have you ever seen it?
Say more about it.
Okay. Well, just think about it. I'll get back to that in a minute. But let's just say that spirit became just a little thicker, but not so thick as to form resistance or boundaries with any particle. That would be the plasma field.
Ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm, that's where I was. So that would be the plasma field. And the plasma field, what we're finding, is constantly in motion. It's really not chaos. What the soup, the great soup from which everything emerged, now we're finding is not soup at all. It is the great plasma field. What is going on over here? Oh no. It's a continuous wave of motion. And that motion conducts all manner of energy. Thought, emotion, physical energy, electricity, electrons, neurons, everything. The plasma conducts it. And the plasma, let's just say the plasma is connecting you and I. The room is all plasma. We have just turned plasma into our personal reality. It's a universal supply available for all of us, and we have turned it into our personal reality. One of the things that is now being discovered in that plasma through thinking about plasma and electrons and consciousness and the way we connect is a theory of mirror electrons. Electrons in the brain that mirror each other and mirror one another. This is part of the developing theory of how do you know that I could possibly think the way you do? Or that I could have a thought that was similar to you? How do you know I'm conscious? How do you know I'll understand the thing you say? How do I know that you'll understand the thing I say? Where did that confidence come from? From the time we were infants, these mirror electrons are mirroring our mother and our father inside us. They literally mirror the world around us. They give us the mirrored experience. We can go into have you ever gone into a room and you felt like somehow you internalized that room and it became you, and you became the room? That was the mirroring going on. We're finding that there is a characteristic electron that's a mirror electron. It literally mirrors its environment. That mirror that is in me is looking back at you. The mirror that is in you is looking back at me. Have you ever heard the phrase that somebody was just mirroring what you said? And sometimes we learn by just letting somebody be in somebody's mirror. We know this, but we only attribute this usually to higher philosophy, like the great karmic mirror. Somebody gets to see what they've done through your actions. In other words, your actions or your life are mirroring back to somebody what they needed to learn. So we think about it in terms of the higher thoughts of philosophy, but we don't realize that in everything we do, we're mirroring. When one of the ways that autistic children are brought out of their internal world is, for example, a child will be there, he'll move his hand. The person who's looking at it moves their hand exactly the same way. He turns his head, you turn your head. He turns his head this way, you turn your head that way. He turns his head up, you turn your head up. And after a few minutes of that, he'll look you in the eye. Now, we didn't know why that worked. We knew that it did work. And for people who have suffered strokes or for any other reason have reduced levels of consciousness, we know that if we literally mirror them in a compassionate way, just being there, they extend their hand, we extend our hand. But we do it in the way of mirroring. We've actually found that this is the way we actually developed communication patterns with chimpanzees. Is that whatever they did, we would do too, and then we'd put a word on it. And so we'd put a hand gesture. Some of the people who've done very advanced work with chimpanzees have taught them to talk in sign language, and the way they would establish that language is through mirroring. The chimpanzee would do something, you'd do it, and give them a sign. Do something else, you do it, give them a sign. And then pretty soon, they're signing, but they want to tell you what they want you to do. So this is the mirror electrons at work. But we're also finding that they not only work linguistically, they give us a basis for empathy. They give us a basis for, we are picking up subtle signals from people that are way too subtle to ever analyze or put words on. Just being in the room with someone, we began to mirror facial expressions, energy, movements, intonations, and somehow we come away, I have people say, well, I didn't understand the word she said, but boy, I got it. What is it they got? Because sometimes what Yeshua brings in this work can be a little steep intellectually. If you don't have some background in science, and we're talking about the Adamantine Particles, you have people looking like, okay, I'll be here, I'll listen, and then when I get through, oh yeah, I got it. How did they get it? What did they get? There was mirroring going on between us.